Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on when you may be tuning in to see this. Welcome to the CVRD 2023 budget virtual meeting. This one specific to the electoral areas D and E, as well as the City of Duncan and Municipality of North Cowichan. My name is Chris Schumacher. I'm the Manager of Communications and Engagement for the Cowichan Valley Regional District. Very happy to be hosting and facilitating this meeting on the traditional unceded territory of the Coast Salish people, and joined by my colleagues and attendees from various areas across this beautiful region. Thank you for those who are tuning in either live or after the fact to learn more about the proposed 2023 budget for the regional district. We'll start out this meeting by introducing my colleagues from the CVRD who are in attendance tonight. We have with us Danielle Miles-Wilson, our CAO. We have Barb Mohan, our General Manager of Corporate Services. And we have Tracy Bowen, our Manager of Financial Planning, who will be leading a presentation about the budget this evening. Before I turn things over to Tracy, I'll just give a little housekeeping here. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the CVRD YouTube channel, where anybody can view it between now and up until the point when the budget is finalized, and in perpetuity afterwards. But we very much want to make sure this information gets out to as many people as possible, and so you may be viewing this well after the fact, but hopefully it's a meaningful experience for you to help inform you about what's being proposed for our 2023 budget. I will also point out for those in attendance that we have a Q&A feature in the right-hand corner of your screen. If you're joining us from your computer or tablet or other device, that's where you will be able to ask questions of staff following the presentation. We'll open that up. And other than that, I will turn it over to Tracy to deliver the presentation. Thanks, Tracy.
Hi, I'm Tracy Bowen. I'm the Manager of Financial Planning here at the CVRD. So I'll be walking you through the highlights and a high level of the 2023 budget. So I'm just gonna... Okay, can you see the presentation? Okay. The Cowichan Valley Regional District has 4 municipalities and 9 electoral areas. And for the 2023 budget, we have 178 services that we do budget for. The population of the CVRD is 89,000. There are a number of competing challenges and expectations that the board must balance when settling the 2023 budget, including how to meet the needs of the public under increasing financial constraints, increased downloading from other levels of government resulting in increased pressures to provide additional services, aging infrastructure and increasing construction costs that exceed consumer price inflation, legislative changes and higher requirements for standards of care that put increasing cost pressures on existing services, and increasing non-controllable expenditures such as hydro and insurance. The CVRD provides a variety of services to different partners, and therefore the impact of our budgeting process on each electoral area or municipality is different. For example, the cost for the average home in electoral area D, which participates in 41 functions, is $1,496.30. But the average home in Duncan, which participates in 24 functions, is $555.45. And Area D also has 6 specified areas services encompassing a variety of services such as street lighting, drainage, and fire protection. To complicate matters, some services are provided directly by the CVRD, others in partnership with other organizations, and some take the form of grants to organizations that provide services in the area. The CVRD does not provide education, sidewalks, curbs and gutters, roads, policing, healthcare, or highways. These are all provincial services or municipal in the case of roads and policing in North Cowichan. For most of our services, taxation is allocated based on assessed value. Each member municipality and electoral areas share in calculated based on assessed values that are provided by BC Assessment, and within the distribution between property classes is determined using a fixed ratio that is mandated under provincial legislation. Requisition represented almost 38% of the total revenue of the 2022 budget. The funding of each service is determined in the establishing bylaw, and with so many services, there are a wide variety of funding mixes used. We can, however, broadly characterize the main types of services funding as regional, electoral area, sub-regional, and specified area. A regional service is funded based on assessment for all 13 jurisdictions within the regional district, and are typically services that benefit the entire region, such as solid waste management or general government. Electoral area services are specified to the rural areas only and are therefore shared by all participating electoral areas on an assessment basis with no municipality funding participation. As an example of this, the community planning, where the CVRD performs the function for the electoral areas but not the munis. The X on the chart indicates that the entire electoral area participates in it, while the O's represented say only partial of the electoral area pays into it. Sub-regional services. Many of our services are sub-regional in nature in that they provide a service for certain areas within the CVRD, and funding is shared by those participating partners, normally on an assessment basis. An example is the Cowichan Community Centre. So again, the X's represent that the whole City of Duncan would pay into that one, where O's represent only partial of that area pays into it. Specified areas are set up to fund services that are provided to a number of properties that do not represent the entire electoral area and are different in that these functions are established in response to a petition by property owners to provide service. A service is established to encompass the properties that receive the service, and this is street lighting or drainage, and then fire services. While taxation is a major component of the CVRD's revenue base, the CVRD has a few other revenue streams. Non-taxation revenue streams that are considered to be part of the budget process include user fees and charges, permit and licensing fees, reserve funds which come from operating reserves or capital reserves, grants, and proceeds from borrowing. As mentioned, services funded with other revenue sources include the Community Health Network, municipal MFA debt, curbside garbage and recycling services, sewer, water, and some streetlight services. The current budget process is incremental, meaning that the current activities and staffing levels are considered as core and used as a baseline for the upcoming budget. This approach uses core expenditures as the basis for the preparation of the draft budget, with requests to changes to the existing service levels being treated as a supplemental request to the commissions and committees for their consideration. Core expenditures are defined as those that are required to maintain the current level of staffing, services, and capital, including reallocation of resources within operational budgets that do not require an increase to requisition. Supplemental requests for the purposes of budgeting are defined as items that are additions to current staffing and/or service levels, and any capital that require an increase to requisition or user fees. These include purchases or construction of new capital, the addition of part or full-time staffing positions, and changes to programs or services requiring increase to user fees or requisition. For the 2023 budget, the CVRD board did not provide a mandate to staff. The board has had budget meetings in 2023 and has considered all supplemental requests. After each meeting, the CVRD budget website is updated to reflect the decisions made at each meeting. With the decisions made to date, the budget includes a requisition increase of 11.7%. And of that, 7.03 is for existing services plus 4.67 for regional recreation. The board will be holding a meeting on February 23rd and March 1st to review all the decisions that have been made so far and the purpose for further changes to the budget before the final plan is brought to the board in March. The increased requisition is discussed as a total number. However, as mentioned previously, the effects on individual properties varies based on a number of factors, including property assessment and property location. Only the participants in the service area contribute to the costs of providing those services. This slide shows the impact of each municipality and electoral area of the proposed 2023 budget. In electoral areas D and E, City of Duncan and the municipality of North Cowichan, the largest changes came from recreation, regional and existing, general government, solid waste, and then Vancouver Island Regional Library and planning, which are only affect the electoral areas. In Area D, the average home would see an increase of $74.73. This chart, which is available on the CVRD website, shows how the tax requisition is broken down by function. So these are all the function that Area D participates in, and then what it's changed from the previous year to this year. In Area E, the average home will see an increase of $127.77. In the City of Duncan, it's $53.13. And the north end of North Cowichan homeowners will see an increase of $166.61. And the south end residents who participate in the liquid waste management function would see an increase of $58.37. So more information can be found on the website. So this is the website here. A number of detailed schedules are available on the CVRD website, providing total budget information as well as detailed financial information on each of the services. The majority of the schedules look at a change in property taxes. Parcel tax information is provided in separate schedules. Schedule A represents a change in tax requisition. It only shows services that have changed and details the amount of the change for that service. Down at the bottom is the total difference between the general tax requisition of 2022 and that of 2023. This does not include change for local area services, which affect only specified defined areas. Schedule B shows the change in tax requisition by jurisdiction. The change due to the other jurisdictions column reflects the increase in the library requisition. Also, down at the bottom is the increase in the local services tax, such as the fire services. So that's this local area services again. Schedule C shows a change in requisition going back to 2016. So you can see the different tax rates that we've paid over the last couple of years. So it gives a bit of a history. Schedule D has a page for each jurisdiction. It lists only the services that the area participates in and shows the change for the service. Down at the bottom, it includes the local area service taxes applicable to that jurisdiction and the change in those as well. So we have 2022 to 2023, and then these are those local area service ones that only certain ones within those electoral areas pay into. Schedule E also has a page for each jurisdiction and shows the impact of the average home in that area. Schedule F is a summary of the short and long-term debt. The schedule on the website is not up to date for 2022, but once we are finished year-end, we will get the schedule up to date. Schedule G is of the capital reserves. There's two parts, there's capital and operating. Again, this one is only up to the end of December 2021. When we finish doing the year-end for 2022, these schedules will be updated. Schedule 8 shows assessment by jurisdiction for 3 years. The 2023 completed roll is used for the 2023 budget calculations. Schedule I shows how the requisition for an area is split between the property classes. And again, there's one for each jurisdiction within on the website. So here it has a property class and then the percentages that they pay out of the total. Schedule J shows the cost for a $100,000 home and shows a portion of the total assessment represented by each area. Schedule K is parcel tax for sewer and water systems. And user fee for sewer and water systems is on Schedule L. It is important to note that an increase in the parcel tax or user fee for a service does not necessarily mean an increase to the property owner. And many new properties have been added to the service area, thus increasing the total amount collected without having to impact the individual properties. Also on our website, we have each individual function listed with a hyperlink. When you go into it, the first page is a summary sheet. At the top, we explain what that function is and what it does. The second half of it indicates who pays into it, as here, based on assessment and what their share of the requisition is going to be. Next page we have is the 5-year financial plan. We always show the previous year plus the current year that we're budgeting, and then the forecast for the next 4 years. Then we have, out of our financial system, we have the budget. We show 2020 actuals, 2021 actuals, the 2022 budget, and then the 2023 provisional budget of what's been proposed. And we have this all on the website. And the last part on this one is also there's a year over year, which comparison of what changed from one year to the next in a little bit different tables, so you can see where areas went up and down quite easily. And that is the end of the presentation.
Thanks so much, Tracy. Before we jump into the Q&A portion, I was remiss to acknowledge our elected officials who are in attendance at the meeting. We have Director Abbott representing Area D. We have Director Nicholson from Area E and their chair, Aaron Stone. Thank you all for joining us this evening for the budget presentation. So now anybody in attendance who wants to pose a question has the opportunity to through the Q&A feature. We are accepting all questions to be answered this evening. We're also compiling those and they will form part of the presentation on the budget that goes to the committee later this month in February. Seeing none now, I will once again remind everyone this is being recorded and will be posted on the CVRD website for those not in attendance who from the affected areas who want to view this at a later date. And if you are tuning in at a later date prior to the budget adoption, thanks so much for doing so. Hope this was a meaningful experience for you. And not seeing any questions, I believe that will bring the meeting to a close. So I will thank those in attendance. Thanks to the staff here making themselves available this evening to answer questions and go through this proposed budget in detail. And yeah, we'll look forward to seeing everyone later this month when the budget goes back to committee for final adoption. So thank you for your time, whether it's on the evening of the 2nd or later on in February. Appreciate you taking an interest in the budget this year.
Good night.